Alright, so here we are for the 5th round of the 1952 Formulalympics season. As you see, we're going to be around Monza for the Italian race in the Formulalympics. And of course, this round will also be the return of the Formula 2 cars as well, so we've got 2 sets of races to enjoy. So without further ado, let's get into the F2 qualifying session to kick things off. So here we are around Monza for the F2 qualifying session. Who's going to be the first driver to go out to set the benchmark? Well, we've found one already. It looks like the driver we're going to be focusing on is Maurice Trintignant from France. Although we did see someone going out ahead of him. I think that might have been his teammate. Oh, actually no, it's one of the British drivers. So is it Dennis Poor or... I guess that it's Dennis Poor. So here we are coming down to the start finish line, 134.1 from Dennis Poor, 133.4, so Trintignant 7/10 faster than the British driver ahead of them. So a great start for Trintignant on his charge to catch Pietro Taruffi in the championship. Maurice Trintignant has not won a single race, and yet he is second in the standings. The drivers that have won, Pietro Taruffi's won twice, he's leading, Fioresi's won once and in fourth, and Andre Simon is in fifth. After getting his first ever Formula Olympic win in his first weekend. Of course, he replaced the outgoing Lou Rusia, who disappointed the team. Trintignant 1/10 slower in the centre one. I guess that's to be expected because, well, he's used up all his used up his tires for the first flying lap, so no surprise they'll be a bit slower. Pietro Taruffi, he's going across the line, currently down in the 7th. That's a little bit surprising because Pietro Taruffi tends to be one of the faster drivers on the track, and yet so far he can only do 7th at the moment. But anyway, we're on board with Pietro Taruffi. He's going to try and improve his lap time. I mean, in the sprint race, it would stand put him 4th. While his championship rival at the back, but the main race, well, that'd be a bigger problem. To start on the 4th row while your rival is on the 1st row. And Trintignant is 8/10 faster than Taruffi as it stands, so Taruffi really need to find some pace just to catch up to his teammate, especially since Fioresi would take 3 points off Taruffi based on the fact, well, 3 points for qualifying pole for the main race, and Taruffi not in the top 3. Okay, so he's going to abandon the lap and go to the pits, probably the right decision. Hopefully he'll come back out and be even faster. 3.5 minutes left to go. We're going to go aboard Pietro Taruffi, because he's pretty much the one to watch this qualifying session. See if we can improve 7th, which is really not good for Taruffi's standards. Especially since you're currently leading the championship by 8 points, which is pretty much a 2nd place in the sprint race, and also a 6th place finish in the main race. Going down the first sector, he's got a couple of cars behind him, which I believe one is Andre Simon. Yes, one is Simon. The other is Dennis Poor. And Simon's currently 8th, which is a bit surprising, especially since he got pole in Spa-Francorchamps. But this is only Simon's 2nd qualifying weekend. Everyone else is on their 3rd, apart from Hans Stuck, who's also his 2nd qualifying session this season. And Hans Stuck is currently on the back row with his teammate Hans Klink. Coming into the last corner to start the flying lap of Taruffi. With 2 minutes on the clock, there's a good chance he'll only do 1 lap and then go to the pits after that. So here is Taruffi starting his lap now. And coming down to the first chicane. Of course, I imagine this chicane is going to be interesting for the F1 qualifying session, though we'll find out when we actually get to it. Because, well, 10 F2 cars and 22 F1 cars, well, I imagine the chicane in the first corner is going to is going to give us some chaos. That's just a prediction. It might be wrong. And Pierre Taruffi over half a second slower in the first sector already. So Taruffi is really having a difficult time this weekend. So as it stands, on the fourth row of the grid, so that's a bit of a disaster there for Italy and Pierre Taruffi in general. I mean, Villaresti getting second, that would be a consolation for the Italian team. But everyone was probably expecting Taruffi to get pole position, but it's just not going to be the case. He's 6/10 slower, so he might just barely improve his lap, but he probably will be stuck in 7th still. So this will be an absolute shocker for the F2 race, both sprint and main. I mean, it'll help Taruffi in the sprint race because he'll start in 4th, but 7th in the main race. Well, that's not good. And he was over a second slower, and he did not improve his time. Here comes Pierre Taruffi, and he is going to come into the pits to abandon the session, his qualifying run. And that should end the qualifying session right here, right now. And it does. So here is the qualifying results. We got Tucci on first, Villaresti second, both Americans on the second row, both Brits on the third row, Taruffi 7th, Andrew Seaman 8th, and both West German drivers at the back. So with that out of the way, it's now time for the F1 qualifying session. So here we are for the qualifying session around Monza for the F1 qualifying session. Who's going to be the first one to go out? And we've got a taker already. We've got a couple of takers already. We've got Giuseppe Farina and Ray Fisher going out together, merging into each other, but thankfully nothing too dramatic after that. So Giuseppe Farina, the current championship leader, along with Ray Fisher. Of course, we do have some news in regard to drivers in the F1 division, and that is Team Switzerland have sacked Peter Hurt based on poor performance, and taking his place will be Tour de Grafenried. So we've got a new driver already in the F1 division, so we'll see what Tour de Grafenried can do. And Ray Fisher 126.3, but Farina 126.3 also, so 700s separating the top two already. That is Van der Loef, one of the two drivers still yet to qualify for a race because he's been always down outside of the 110% time. We see Fritz Ries currently third. Oh, Giuseppe Farina has been pushed off the track. Thankfully he's back. Thankfully he is not taking any damage. And there's Tour de Grafenried 127.2, nearly a second off his teammate, but only one place behind him as it stands. Now Farina and Paul Freire having a bit of a battle. Oh, there was definite contact there. It's a pretty aggressive driving there for Paul Freire just to keep Farina behind him. Of course, Freire's on his flying lap. Freya's lap time has been brutally well off the track anyway. There's Alberto Crespo 135. Chuck Stevenson's now gone to pole 125.8. And Chico Landing's now gone to the top 4 126.3. So this is looking really interesting so far. Paul Freire is currently 10th. Van der Loef is in 11th ahead of Alberto Crespo. And that's Jan Flinterman. Oh, Troy Ruttman has gone to pole, so we got both American drivers in the top 2, 125.3 and 125.8. So Troy Ruttman, I'm calling his teammate. Where is Troy Ruttman actually? Troy Ruttman is 6th in the championship, his teammate is 3rd, separating each other by 32 points, 55 Charles Stevenson, 23 Troy Ruttman. So Ruttman's not exactly had a great season so far in comparison. And Ray Fisher improves his time, goes into the top 3, might get his first bonus points from qualifying of the session with how things are going. Tour de Grafenried in his debut improves his time into the top 8. So a very, very good run from the Swiss on his debut. What about the remaining 18 drivers? Will any of them improve? And if they do, where will he end up on the board? Well, we will see. A couple of drivers going into the start finish line. Robert Manson jumping up to second, 125.2. That's an amazing lead there from the Frenchman. Alright, time is now up. And we've got 4 people in the pits. Rudy Fischer previous time going into second. Rudy Fischer is putting himself in a good position to get bonus points for the first time this season. Okay, so Graffreed and Bear coming across the line. Graffreed puts time. Farina is puts time in 7th. Wow, so that's been a really disappointing session for Farina. The championship leader only managing 7th in his home race. Which is really not good at all. And that is it. That's the end of the session. So a very, very interesting result. So we got a Sperta Sky pole. Rudy Fischer getting his first bonus points of the season. And Robert Manson out of nowhere makes his way to the top 3. There's both American drivers, Kim Morton, Farina in a very disappointing 7th. Mike Collins on 8, Sean Bernard and Chico Landi for Brazil, rounding off your top 10. Now, before we get into the F1 race, it is time for the F2 reverse and main races. So here we are for the reverse grid race around Monza for the F2 division. The 2 West German drivers were the slowest, so they are in pole position, and the 2 fastest most street will be the rest here at the back for this reverse race. So without ado, let's get into this. As I've seen, we're in the wrong car. It should be the Formulalympics car, but instead we're in Griffith's car for whatever reason. But regardless, it's time for this race to get underway, and away we go. Good start from Hans Klink to hold on to the lead as they're coming down to turn 1. Will all 10 drivers make it down there safely? It looks like we've got one of the Italian drivers. This will be Pier Turuffi, qualified pretty poorly. Poorly in the actual qualifying, having to start from 7th for the main race, but it puts him in the 2nd row. But he's lost the position to Andre Simon, who's in 3rd. As we put the cars back to the pits, we see Hans Kling under pressure from his teammate and Andre Simon, who's trying to get past Hans Stuck. And Simon does get past, so he's now chasing after the leader of Hans Klink. In fact, Andrew Simon are going to the lead of the race with Hank 6th place though, so he's actually behind Taruffi, because Taruffi's made his way. Well, Taruffi is in 4th, and Hanks is 6th. Villaresi's 8th. So at the end of the first lap, Andrew Simon leads. Hans Stuck getting past his teammate for 2nd. Hans Klink 3rd, Pierre Taruffi 4th. There's Dennis Poor running off your top 5, now coming down to the first corner. And Taruffi trying to make the move on Klink, but doesn't manage to, not this time. Meanwhile, Maurice Trintiong, the pole sitter for the main race, still currently stuck in 9th. Looks like he's going to try and make the move on Villaresi, but the move didn't quite work out for him. So the next game should be Trintiong's his pole, but he's not really making much progress as Hans Klink is being passed by. Was being passed by Dennis Poor, but Klink has managed to hold onto the position. In fact, Sam Hanks is going to sneak his way past the British driver for 5th as he's trying to chase down Pierre Taruffi just to try and catch up with him in the championship. But Andrew Simon's in the first lap, 133.7. And Sam Hanks does get his way into 4th. And no one else getting close to 133, so Andrew Simon is pulling a nice gap, 2.4 seconds separating him in 2nd place, as Taruffi is stuck in a tussle for 2nd place. It's Pierre Taruffi now getting past Hans Stuck for 2nd, so now he's got to chase down Andrew Simon for the race leads. Meanwhile, Andrew Simon is pretty much often going up to the sunset. 133.9 was his last lap. Sam Hanks goes 133.5, which is the fastest lap so far, and he's now catching Hans Stuck for 3rd, and he makes his way past the West German driver with ease. So now he's going to see if he tries and chase down Pierre Taruffi. who is about 1.9 seconds ahead of him. Sam Hanks gets the fast lap once again, 133.1 from the American, so he's about like 6/10 faster than Taruffi in that last lap, so he is catching up to the Italian that's on board with Andrew Simon. Is he going to come to the pits this lap? Yes, he is. What about everyone else? Taruffi's going in, Hanks is going in, Alan Brown 4th, is he going to go in? Yes, he is. So is Villoresi, Stuck going in, Trintian going in, McGrath going in. Is that everyone's going to come in this lap? So let's go on board with Simon, as he's probably the one to focus on because he is the one that came in first. Will he be able to come out first? Or who will get out there quickest? This dance pool coming in. No takers yet. So everyone's pitting, but no one's moving. That's interesting. I thought it would just be straight out. In fact, yes, we've got people coming out now. Oh no. Villares is going to come out. Trintian out of nowhere is coming out in second, ahead of Hanks. Then McGrath. Andrew Simon's had a disaster for his pit stop. Andrew Simon is stuck in the pit lane. He's going to come out from first, and he's going to drop all the way back to 9th. That is shocking. So Villaresi leads, Trintian's up into second, Hanks is third, McGrath 4th, Poor 5th, Brown 6th, Taruffi's has had disastrous ways, back down to 7th, and Hans Stuck is 8th, Simon 9th, and Clink comes out last. So round the last corner it goes, and Luigi Villaresi wins the F2 sprint race around in Monza. Maurice Trintian will hold on to second, Sam Hanks will claim third position, Jeb McGrath, a decent recovery thanks to the pit stops, will come along in 4th place. There's both British drivers 5th and 6th. Pierre Taruffi, unfortunate pit stop, sends him down to 7th. Andrew Simon, even more unfortunate, finishes the race down in 8th place. And then we've got the 2 West German drivers to round off the race. And here are your results. Luigi Villaresi wins the race in 15 minutes, 4.2 seconds ahead of Trintian, who was only 6/10 ahead of Sam Hanks. There's Jim McGrath 4th, both Brits 5th and 6th. Pierre Taruffi 17 seconds down 7th, Andrew Simon 8th, and the 2 West German drivers at the back of the field. So with that exciting race out of the way, it's time for the F2 main race. So here we are for the main race around Monza. So we're back to the normal grid. We've got Trintian on pole, Villaresi second, both American drivers in the second row, both Brits in the third row, Taruffi 7th, Simon 8th, and both West German drivers at the back of the grid. What's going to happen in this main race? Well, let's find out. Let's get right into it. Turn it off. Focus on Trintian back here. And away we go. 18 laps around Monza for the main race, and it's a good start from Maurice Trintian. So we come into shot. If I go to a better camera, that would be a better idea. Coming down to the first corner, yeah, it was a good start for Trintian as he stays in the lead of the race. As we've got the board that's coming out slightly wrong. So Trintian leads, Villaresi second, McGrath third, and Hanks 4th. Of course, Taruffi starting down in 7th position, which is really not ideal for the Italian, already under pressure from Andrew Simon, who qualified down in 8th. But Simon and Taruffi is soon going to try and make the pass. Oh, contact there. But it looks like Taruffi is going to hang on to 7th position. I'm surprised he's not moved up any positions, based on you think Taruffi would have the speed to make his way up the field. As Jim McGrath sets the fastest lap of the race, Sam Hanks sets the fastest lap, 1:35.3. In fact, here comes Villaresi now trying to make the move on Trintian. This McGrath trying to get himself involved, and this Taruffi's made his way up to 6th, and Andrew Simon going to try and do the same thing, but looks like he's just about not. Oh no! I thought he managed to pull that off. Not to be the case. Pierre Taruffi now sets the fastest lap at 1:35.2. as Villaresi gets ahead of Morris Trintignant for the lead of the race in the first corner, but Trintignant is having none of that as he manages to pull his way back into the lead of the race. As Villaresi wasn't able to do anything about it, as the two American drivers sat back and watched. Andrew Simon has finally got ahead Dennis Poor into 7th. And the graph is in this. Villaresi there once again trying to make the move on Trintignant. Manages to get his nose ahead to the lead, and Andrew Simon now sets the fastest lap, 1:35.0. And Villaresi, is he going to make the move? Stack! Oh, doesn't look like it. Looks like Trintignant is going to pull away from Villaresi, just getting the better exit round the chicane. Going from the right side, there's Morris Trintignant. Now can he get ahead of him? Andrew Simon once again setting the fast lap of the race. 2 seconds faster than Teruffi as well, so that's excellent. Nope, but Trintignant managed to pull ahead of him, just getting the better line coming into the corner. As we're getting close to the halfway mark, not much has really changed if we look at the progress. Teruffi is still gaining a place, Dennis Poor's lost 2 places. That's the only change so far this race. But, well, there's always the pit stops that can shake things up in the field, up and down the field. Well, hopefully hopefully nothing bad happens in the pit lane between them. As here we are coming up to start lap 11 of the race. This lap I think everyone's going to pit. No, they're pitting now. So Villaresi is coming to the pits, Trintignant's pitting, McGrath's pitting, so is Hanks, Brown, Teruffi. Okay, so everyone is coming to the pits here. So this could be pretty decisive between them. Who's going to come out first? I'm guessing everyone's pitting this lap. We'll go aboard Trintignant since he is the one leading. No, in fact, here comes Villaresi. Villaresi's already coming out of the pit lane. Into the lead goes Luigi Villaresi. McGrath's going to come in second. And Teruffi's going to make his way to third. Simon fourth. Oh, no way. The championship leader is suffering the same fate as he did. No. Who suffered? Andrew Simon suffered the same fate as he was leading the race, only to end up going down the order. And Trintignant is lighter than Simon because he's only down in 5th. Well, I think Simon ended up down in 8th. So let's see the order. Let's see the biggest who's made the biggest gain thanks to that pit stop. Teruffi and Simon made the biggest gains, being in 3rd and 4th. And the biggest loss is Sam Hanks, 4th down to 9th, and then Morris Trintignant 1st to 5th. Wow, this is once again a big shake up in the order thanks to the pit stops. In fact, Villaresi's got a 3-second gap over Jim McGrath in 2nd. This Peter Teruffi 3rd. This Andrew Simon still in striking distance of him 4th, but I doubt Andrew Simon's going to be able to chase down the Italian, because he's not been able to. He hasn't really been able to chase him down at all this race. It's just been very, very difficult to pass. Like how for Villaresi, Trintignant was very difficult to pass down the first corner. But down is Alan Brown. Sam Hanks says the fastest lap. He's going to try and make the move on Dennis Poor. Can Sam Hanks hold on to the position of 7th? And it looks like Sam Hanks easily gets past Poor for 7th. So Dennis Poor, once again, back down to 8th he goes. Tries he might, but he still has to sit behind him. Sam Hanks, again, fastest man on the track, 1:34.3. 3 seconds faster than Alan Brown and Trintignant ahead of him up the road. Sam Hanks again sets the fastest lap on the track. 1:34.2 once again. He would also be the first driver to win both races in one track. 5 times faster McGrath was in the last lap. He is still closing in, 2 laps left to go. And McGrath going to try to make the move. Oh, contact! Hopefully that didn't do too much damage to his tyre. Or Villaresi's rear wing. That was a bit of a late manoeuvre there from McGrath. 1:33.6. Hags sets, so again the fast lap of the race. Sam Hags is pushing as hard as he can, but he's just not going to be close enough to try and make his way into 5th. So I think 7th is the best he can really hope for, but he is going to try his best regardless. Will McGrath have the pace to catch Vila Resi? Here he is coming down to the main straight. 135.5, 135.4. Oh no, McGrath was only a tenth faster that time. That's not enough. We're going down to the inside, but I don't think he's going to close in enough. And Vila Resi managing to stay ahead of McGrath. But this is the last lap, so he's just going to try and hold on just for about a minute and a half longer to take his first back-to-back victory of the season and his third first place finish of the season. It's Vila Resi going to the outside to get past the West German driver. McGrath is struggling to get past, and no, Hans Kleick gets smashed this game between both of them, and thanks to that, Luigi Vila Resi is going to be the first driver to win both races on the same track, and Luigi Vila Resi takes the win in Monza. McGrath will finish right behind him in 2nd, and Pierre Taruffi, with luck being on his side, finishes in 3rd. Andrew Simon does a good job to finish in 4th. Maurice Trintignant, the pole setter, dropping down to 5th thanks to the pit stops going against him. And now we just gotta wait for everyone else to finish. Well, what an exciting end to the race that was. Luigi Vila Resi is the first driver to win both races in a weekend. Jim McGrath does an amazing job to get his first ever podium finish of the season. Pierre Taruffi doing a great job to finish in 3rd. There's both Frenchmen. Alan Brown finishing 6th. Sam Hags did pretty well by managing to salvage 7th place. Dennis Poor 8th, and both West German drivers at the back, with Hans Kleick being one lap down of Luigi Vila Resi. So before we get to the results of the Formula 2 Championship, it is now time for as a reminder of the grid lineup for Formula 1 and of course the F1 race itself. And so on to the grids for the Formula 1 race. We have Alberto Ascari at his home race on pole position, with Rudy Fischer on the front row alongside him, and then followed by Robert Manson and Troy Ruttman on the 2nd row of the grid, followed by the other American driver of Chuck Stevenson and Kim Wharton rounding up the top 6. Then it's Giuseppe Farina and Mike Hawthorne on row 4, with Jean Berra and Chico Landi rounding off your top 10. And then moving on to row number 6 is Tullio de Graffenried replacing the disappointing Peter Hart. Johnny Clay's on the 6th row, and then it's Fritz Rees and Paul Ferreira on row 7, followed by Tony Allman and Jan Vlinsman on row 8. And then the last driver to qualify is Gino Bianco in 17th position, with Van der Loof, Crespo and Kraus all failing to qualify, but also Ernst Klodwig. And of course there is no 22nd spot because of José Fernando Gonzalez's injury, and thus he is not on the grid as Argentina doesn't have a reserve driver. So with only 17 cars on the grid, the race might not end up being as exciting as we hoped, but we hope we have a very exciting race regardless. So with that out of the way, let's get into the actual race itself. So here we are for the main event. It is the F1 race around Monza. Now, coming into this race, Giuseppe Farina is the man currently leading the championship, but he's starting from 7th with his teammate 2nd in the championship standings. 13 points behind is on pole. So, without further ado, let's get into the race. Of course, 4 drivers did not qualify, which means we've only got 17 cars instead of the usual 21. And we are off. We are underway. It looks like it was a good start from Alberto Ascari. There we go, TV3. That should give us a good view. Coming to turn 1, there's Rudy Fischer though, just trying to see if he can snag his way into the lead. But it looks like Robert Manson is going to make his way into 2nd position behind Alberto Ascari. But it looks like all 17 drivers have made it through. It's Rudy Fischer battling with Manson to reclaim 2nd place. We got a bunch of drivers overtaking up and down the grid, but more importantly, it looks like everyone is through safely. As I say that, Robert Mansell's off, Chuck Stevenson is also off. Total Grafenried on his debut's gone off, and so is Troy Ruttman. So we've got 4 drivers off, and I think they're all out of the race. Obviously, we saw what happened to Mansell. He had a collision with Rudy Fischer, but it looked like a racing incident. Now look at Stevenson. It looked like he got taken out by his own yeah, him and Ruttman came together with his teammates. He was coming to the inside, to the corner, and he went wide, and and also caught out was the Grafenried on his he qualified 11th in his debut, so not too bad for the Swissman. But what happened to him? Did he get he got caught by that is Chico Landi had gone into contact with. So that's like that. 4 drivers possibly retired. As we start lap 2 of 35, it's a 2.4 second lead over Rudy Fischer, who's under pressure from Ken Wharton, who looks like he's going to try and make the pass into second as Hawthorne does the same with Giuseppe Farina to push him down to 5th. Hawthorne wasn't able to do it, but Wharton is made his way into second. As Mike Hawthorne still trying to put the pressure on Giuseppe Farina. Now we come up to the corner and took out 4 drivers. Will we see similar bit of drama happening? And the answer is not quite. I mean, it looked like contact, but everyone is still on the track, importantly. Alberto Sky saying a 1:27.0. Will anyone beat that time? No, not even close. I think it's Rudy Fischer though to try and make the pass to reclaim second place. Into the turn, and Fischer doesn't get the pass. But Mike Hawthorne makes the move on Farina to make his way back into 4th. There's Jean Bear in 6th, trying to put the pressure on the Italian on his home race. Board of Rudy Fischer as he's chasing down Ken Wharton. Alberto Sky saying the fast lap of the race, 1:27.047. And just like that, then again, Giuseppe Farina has gone and absolutely smashed that time. And now we've got 3 drivers battling for 3rd, both Brits and Fischer. Now who's going to win out here? Okay, it looks like Wharton's going to hold on to the position. So yeah, that came out of absolutely nowhere. Some people saying the fastest laps, especially since Alberto Scar has just been running away so far with this race. So we're only on to lap 5 out of 35. Wasn't pulling any decent results, and that's why I got rid of her and put in Tour de Grafenried. But Tour de Grafenried got taken out in the first lap, so we won't actually know if Tour de Grafenried with a bigger. In fact, we know he was a big improvement to Peter Hart based on qualifying, but in the actual race itself, well, we'll never know until the next round of the season. As Rudy Fischer makes his way into 2nd place for Team Switzerland, coming into turn 1. Ken Wharton sticks his nose in and reclaims the position. And Rudy Fischer wasn't able to do much about it. So very unfortunate. We've got an overtake. We're getting a battle for 9th. This is between the 2 West German drivers, Ullmann and Ries. So it doesn't really matter about West Germany here. We've got an overtake, and Rudy Fischer has been passed by Mike Hawthorne for 3rd. So we've got both Brits in the medals position. And there's Berra and Farina getting themselves involved as Farina has been spun out. Now, what has happened here to Farina? That was a big spin from the Italian. In fact, how did he end up falling down the order so much? That's interesting. Okay, we'll go on board with the Italian. I'm surprised Giuseppe Farina, the championship leader, has been struggling. Into the inside, and he hits Berra. Into Berra, and that's what ended it for him. Let's go on board with Berra and get from his perspective. There we go. Let's see here. Going to the outside. Did he cut across Farina. Ooh. I don't think he, well, either way, he didn't leave Bear enough. No, he didn't leave Farina enough room, and Farina is out of this race. Who are right now defending their position from Rui Fischer and Jean Berra. And in 6th place, you've got Gigolandi. Here comes Rui Fischer now to try and make the move on Wharton. Get his way into 3rd. And he looks. Oh, does he make. It looks like he's going to make the move. He does make the move. He gets his way into 2nd. No, into 3rd, sorry. But here comes Jean Berra now to try and push Wharton down to 5th. Jean Berra trying to keep France's hopes alive to get a good result from here. And Jean Berra just about misses out. It'll cut the grass there, so that's going to help Wharton get through. As we see Paul Frere and Fritz Ries in the battle for 8th, and Paul Frere's got to have both West German drivers. So he's now going to try and chase down his teammate, John Clays, in 7th. With an 8-second gap. There's Jean Berra getting ahead of Wharton now. Then that's going to help the Sky is going to end up comfortably ahead of Farina in the championship. In fact, he'll easily retake the lead of the championship. Mike Hawthorne saying the fastest lap now, 126.7. The Sky leads. Hawthorne, we'll check, take a look who's made the biggest gains and losses. The biggest gainer, in fact, a 3-way tie. Hawthorne's gained 6, Berra gained 6, and Paul Frere gained 6. So Hawthorne gained 6 positions, he's starting 8th. Berra gained 6 positions, starting 9th. And Paul Frere gained 6 positions, starting 14th. And then the next, we've got a 4-way tie for the next biggest, which is 5. So Johnny Clays gained 5, starting 12th. Tony Ullman started 15th, he's now in 10th. Flidsman gained 5, started 16th, he's in 11th. And Gino Bianco started 17th, now in 12th. As Alberto Sky saying the fastest lap of this race so far. Alberto Sky is the only driver here that's not gained or lost positions. That is because he qualified pole and he's still in pole. We're now halfway into this race, and it's a bit of a, to be honest, it is a bit of a snooze fest, but it's just because with so few cars on the track, not much is bound to happen. At least it's not America 2005. 126.5 is the Sky's time, which is the fastest of this so far in this race. The Sky has just been absolutely on fire this race. He's 7.5 seconds ahead of 2nd, who is a further 11 seconds ahead of Berra. And then it's Fischer 4th, and Wharton runs into your top 5 of this race, unless the Sky is going in this lap. He is going in this lap. So Alberto Sky, the race leader, is in the pits. What about his rivals? Okay, Hawthorne's coming to the pits as well. So we go aboard the Italian. There's all the retired cars. There's the Formulalympic car as well. Now, can Hawthorne get out quickly? Yes, he can. No, the Sky get out quickly. Yes, he can. The Sky coming out of the pits, and he's going to stay comfortably ahead. But it looks like we've got a problem. We got a problem for Hawthorne and Fischer. Oh no, or maybe not, I guess. Okay, Jean Berra's on the move. Oh, Rui Fischer's on the move. Johnny Clay stays out. He goes into 2nd. So Johnny Clay is yet to pit, but he's going to stay out for a lap longer. Oh, that's a risky decision there from the Belgian, I guess. Sometimes if you want to do well in this race, you gotta take risks, so respect to him if it doesn't work out. Fischer comes out of the pit ahead of Berra in 3rd. Hawthorne comes out in 5th, so Hawthorne, the man who's in 2nd position, coming to the pit lane, has had an absolute catastrophe. Chico Landi comes out in 6th ahead of Wharton, who's also fallen down the order, as Paul Frere is in the pits now. But he's been passed by Fritz Ries. But the question is, has the extra lap done Clays any good, or will he end up falling down the order? He is 22 seconds ahead of Chico Landi, who he was chasing a lot of this race. So the possibility this might backfire on the Belgian. And he's in, and he comes straight out. Oh, is he going to be ahead of Landi? Here comes Landi coming down the start finish straight. It's going to be close. It's going to be pretty close, but I think... Okay, and Landy does get the jump into 5th place. The better Sky saying the fastest lap of the race, 125.1, as he's gone and lapped a bunch of people in the pit lane. I think it's about Sky though, trying to get past Paul Freire. Oh, we've got contact! Oh, well, in fact, no, Sky's pushing Paul Freire. Oh, that was a little bit unnecessary from Alberto Ascari there. Just broke behind Freire and just started pushing the Belgian, started forcing off the road. Ascari, you don't want to disqualify yourself doing that. That would be a shame both for you and for Italy, since you've lost your teammate early in the race. Don't make it look bad on yourself. Of course, Team Italy would be the biggest winners because we'll have won. Oh no! Tony Allman has been spun around by Sean Berra. Tony Allman trying to spin around. No, he's stuck now. Okay, let's go on board Tony Allman. It looked like he was turned around by... Yes, he was turned around. Okay, we'll go from Berra's perspective. Go on board with Sean Berra. The brake. Put him towards speed. Oh no, Sean Berra, that was not good, Berra. That's probably going to be a race investigation there. As I just see, as I can see on the screen there, Sean Berra, no, Mike Hawthorne's got ahead of Rudy Fisher for the bronze medal. As Alberto Ascari, he's just got one more corner left to go. And Alberto Ascari, with just last corner to go, he's going to win his 3rd race of the season. Alberto Ascari wins Monza. An absolutely delightful result from the Italian. So Alberto Ascari gets his 3rd win of the season. Now we're just going to wait for everyone else to finish. We'll see who gets the silver and bronze medal. And there we go. Here is your final results of the race. Alberto Ascari wins by 35 seconds over Berra. Mike Hawthorne finishing in 3rd. Rudy Fisher takes 4th. Ken Wharton 5th and Joy Clay 6th, with Chico Landi the last driver to have not been lapped this race. And then Paul Freire, the top driver who was a lap down, finishing 8th. The 2 West Germans scoring the last points, nice and tense. Jan Flintemann was lapped twice, and Gino Bianco was lapped 3 times. And here are the DNFers. Giuseppe Farina DNF'd on lap 5. Well, after completing 5 laps, Manzon, Ruttman, Stevenson and De Graaf and Reed all failed to finish the first lap. So with those results out of the way, it's time to take a look at the points table. And here is the championship standings in F1, and as you can see, Sean Berra, who had spun Tony Allman, who finished 2nd initially, had ended up being given a time penalty and was demoted down to 4th. That meant Mike Hawthorne and Rudy Fisher overtook him, with Mike Hawthorne getting his 1st podium of the season, and Rudy Fisher also gets his 1st podium of the season. By the way, Alberto Ascari with 3 wins out of 5 puts him 12 points ahead of 2nd place Giuseppe Farina, who fortunately DNF'd the race. And then you've got the last driver to score a point, Tony Allman, managed to recover to finish 10th, so that puts him 15th in the championship standings. Looking over to the F2 Championship, thanks to Luigi Villaresi winning the reverse and main races in his home race, he has a 8-point lead over his teammate Piero Taruffi in 2nd position, followed by Maurice Trintignant with his disaster at the pit stop pushing him down to 3rd place. Jim McGrath getting his 1st podium of the season, putting him up to 5th in the championship standings with 51 points. In the Nations table, the effect of Sean Berra's penalty pushes France to only get 4th place in the Nations table, which is really disappointing, as they could have ended up being ahead of the United States. But Italy records 4th out of 5 wins so far this season, giving a 65-point lead over 2nd place the United Kingdom, with Switzerland gaining their 1st podium finish of the season in the Nations table. So with that race out of the way, what did I think of the race overall? Well, I think the race was pretty boring, mainly because of 4 drivers not qualifying and 4 drivers DNFing after the first few corners. Now I have to point out, I have to apologise for the way my voice sounded during the recording. It wasn't because I was bored of the race, because I'll admit it was, and I imagine you might have been as well, so you might have been disappointed with what this race ended up giving us. But I was actually unwell when I also did the recording, so I think that really summarises the race nicely. I think the best highlight of the race was definitely the first lap drama, but also the drama that led to Sean Bear's penalty and demotion from second to fourth. But I hope that the next race will be a lot more exciting than what we were given. So hopefully you'll look forward to that, and I look forward to that as well.